My husband took our sons on a boys' trip and excluded our daughter, so I treated her to a fun weekend together, and she felt happy again, but when she shared what we did to my husband, he got angry and accused me of spoiling her and is now being cold to both of us. Posted by you/click-dependent 8. I, 43F, have triplets, Mark, Liam, and Abby, ages 14, with my husband Josh, 45M. Last Friday, Josh decided to bring Mark and Liam on a spontaneous trip to Six Flags. I don't like amusement parks, so I wasn't bothered by not being invited. Abby asked to go as well, but Mark and Liam said it was a boys' trip and that she would ruin the vibe. Abby was upset because she felt left out, and I felt bad for her, so I decided we'd have a day out. On Saturday, we went to Cheesecake Factory, our favorite restaurant, a local spa, and I let her have a mini shopping spree at the mall that only came out to about $150. I paid for it all since I got a hefty bonus and didn't know what else to spend it on. She felt better after, and we even had a heartfelt mother-daughter moment at Build-A-Bear, where we made each other bears. We also had brunch on Sunday, although it wasn't very costly. The boys came home last night, and Abby was excited to tell Josh all about what we did over the weekend. He got mad and confronted me about it, saying I shouldn't have done that. I asked why, because he refused to let Abby go in the first place, and he said it was a boys' trip, and that I shouldn't get her used to special treatment for not being involved in anything. I asked why it bothered him so much, since I know he'd do it for our sons, but he won't tell me why it bothers him so much. He even ended up trying to take her bear, but I wouldn't let him. He's being cold to me and Abby now, and I'm at a loss. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. This is alarming behavior, to be honest. If they're allowed boys' trips, why are girls' trips not allowed? Unless he can give a better explanation, the only reason he's against this is because he wanted her to feel excluded. So why does he insist his daughter feel excluded? Does he hate her or something? Is this the first time he's treated her as less than when it comes to all the kids? Ops response. He refuses to explain why and just says that it's not right and won't explain further. I don't know if he hates her, but I am wondering now and wondering why he would treat her this way. There have been times before where he'd take the boys somewhere extravagant and take Abby somewhere less than exciting after, like taking our sons camping for the weekend and taking Abby to Denny's to make it up, but she always seemed to appreciate it, so I thought he put thought into it. Now I'm wondering if she was an afterthought to him. Commenter 2. His refusal to explain is an explanation. He wants her to feel like a second-class citizen. You note that you also were not invited, but it didn't bother you because it was conveniently something you're not into. Are you also treated as a second-class citizen, but it just conveniently happens to be things you're not interested in? Does he treat you to a lesser experience as a way of making up for the times you're excluded? I'm wondering if it's a he hates his daughter thing or if this is a sexism thing. Ops response. I've never felt like I was being treated like a second-class citizen by him or Mark and Liam. If anything, they treat me like I'm one of the wonders of the world. Usually, if he plans trips, I'm the first one he has involved, even before we tell the kids. He just insisted this time that it was a boys' trip. Commenter 3. In my opinion, it sounds like he was trying to punish her for something. The punishment didn't work because you let her have fun, and that's what his actions say to me. This was supposed to be a punishment, but it's something he is probably rightfully ashamed of because it wasn't presented as the punishment it was supposed to be. He could also just be sexist. Ops response. I have no idea what she'd be punished for. She's a good kid and looks up to her dad, so I know she wouldn't want to disappoint him. Commenter 4. Does your husband believe that Abby isn't his, or does he think that he was hoping for all boys instead of 2 boys and a girl? It's a very sexist thing, but I have seen it with family members. Please stay cautious and protect all of your children. Ops response. I hope he doesn't think Abby isn't his. Having triplets with different fathers isn't really possible. I do know that after they were born, though, for a while he made a joke like, I almost won the jackpot but was 1 bar off and lost everything. I asked him what it meant one time, and he never said it again. Now I'm wondering if it was a sexist joke. Commenter 5. You've got to be kidding me. I can understand how you'd miss that since you'd just given birth, but that is a huge red flag. What a gross person he is. I bet if you sat and thought about it, you'd notice a ton of times where Abby has been left out and the boys have been favored. Also, as someone else mentioned, don't go to your sister's house. Tell him he needs to leave until you get this sorted. You should absolutely not be leaving your sons behind with him, and there's no point in messing up their school schedule, routine, and comfort, so hubby needs to be the one to leave. Ops response. I don't think I could force him out, since he's the one who bought the house. Commenter 6. Your name isn't on the title of the house you share with your husband? Ops response. He inherited it from his grandmother before we got married and moved in together, so I wasn't on the title. I guess I just never thought about it. Update 3 months later. It's been a while since I made my first post, and enough time has passed that I figured I would update. Firstly, I want to clear some things up. The boys' trip was not just one day, it was from Friday to Tuesday. I saw multiple people say it was just a day trip, so I wanted to clear that up. The question everyone is asking, why did I defend Josh? I wish I had an answer better than I was in denial. I didn't want to think that Josh was horrible because I truly loved him at the time. I don't anymore. At the time, though, I was scared to accept that he was a bad person. The update: I took the kids and we went to my sister's house. Mark and Liam protested, but I told them it wasn't their choice to make. I told Josh that we were leaving for a while, and he literally said, "Fine, as long as I can keep the boys with me." We had an argument about it, and it escalated to the point where police had to intervene. He didn't get physical, but he was verbally aggressive toward all of us, and they had to calm him down. I think that was the moment I realized I couldn't do it anymore. I decided it was over for us. I was able to force him into family therapy with the help of his family. They were appalled by his behavior and didn't understand what was happening either. I wish I could tell you all that we came to a big revelation and finally understood everything. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. The therapist asked Abby to speak, and she asked Josh directly why he didn't let her go on the trip and why he got upset that she spent the day with me. He refused to speak and just walked out of the session. He blocked both me and my daughter, and the last thing I heard from him was him texting Liam and telling him to tell me that he expects custody of both the boys, and not Abby, if we divorce. I still don't understand what's going on with him, and neither does his family. I also talked to all the kids separately. Abby said that nothing happened between the two of them and that she was confused as to why he hated her. Liam and Mark said that he told them they should leave Abby home because it was a father-son's trip, and insisted that the trip was going to have a certain dynamic that Abby would ruin. He convinced them to not want her on the trip, and they obliged because he said he was going to cancel it if she came along. As for what happened on the trip, they just said that they spent pretty much all their time at Six Flags, and the worst thing that happened was they didn't have sunscreen. As of right now, we're still living with my sister. Mark and Liam are still sharing a room and got used to it. Abby is still shaken up from the situation, and sometimes I catch her blaming herself for all of this, but I make sure to remind her that it's not her fault. All three are on a wait list for individual therapy right now, and I'm considering it for myself. For now, I'm focusing on them. I'm looking to see what my options are for housing, and as much as I would love to keep our home, I don't know if I can. I'm looking into other houses or apartments as a backup. I'm hoping the divorce process goes smoothly. I can see Josh dragging it out as long as possible. I'm monitoring Mark and Liam's text messages in case Josh says anything or tries pitting them against me or Abby. He still won't talk to Abby or me, which I am fine with for now. I know Abby misses her dad, but I think even she realizes that she's better off without him. That's basically it for now. I'm not sure if this is the end of everything or if I'll be dealing with a lot more with the divorce. In any case, I think my kids and I will be fine. Thanks to everyone on the original thread for giving me advice and helping to pull off the rose-tinted glasses. I dread to think about what would have happened if I never came here and stayed with Josh. /relevant comments. Commenter. Where do the boys land in all of this? Are they seeing their dad as unreasonable, or are they sympathetic to him? Are they making Abby feel supported? I feel sad for everyone except your husband. Ops response. I'm not entirely sure how they feel about their dad. I have tried to talk about it with them a couple of times, but both have said they don't want to talk about it. Abby has almost stopped interacting with them entirely, which the family therapist suggested might be out of guilt. They don't completely avoid each other, but Abby keeps to herself a lot more now. Now that she's back in school, she spends most of her day doing extra work and studying, and I think Mark and Liam have just given up on trying to get her to hang out with them. We're working on it in family therapy, but I worry that the boys might subconsciously blame her for everything, and that's why they've accepted her not talking to them. Commenter 2. I think you need to get ready to pay for several motions and hearings to get a psych evaluation of your ex ordered by the court. Then the psych evaluation needs to figure out why he hates his daughter and whether he is able to parent any of the children. If he refuses to cooperate, then you have a decent chance of very much the majority of custody. You should talk strategy with your attorney. I would consider going for full custody of all 3 children initially and settling for joint custody, but really you have primary custody and he gets supervised visitation for the first year or so. Something is medically wrong with your husband's brain. Ops response. I am definitely going for full custody, or at least nothing more than supervised visits from him. A psych eval would be a good idea. I'll talk to my attorney about that. Considering his own family doesn't agree with his behavior or know what's going on with him, and we have the family therapy incident as proof, I hope that can be enough to get a psych evaluation or at least prove he isn't fit to be around them alone. Commenter 3. Is it possible he somehow believes Abby isn't his? Very strange behavior. Either that, or he thought after having 2 boys he'd have another one and got disappointed? Ops response. I'm leaning towards the latter, but I feel there's more to it than just that based on the fact that his own family doesn't know why he's doing this, and him refusing to say why exactly he doesn't like her. Commenter 4. You may want to check up on the boys' online activity and get a gauge on their attitudes about certain things, like women and feminism and gay people and crap like that, because it sounds like your husband is actually a raging misogynist who only values men. You can't control what sticks with your kids, but you can at least attempt to intervene on this, and try to make sure they're not getting radicalized. Ops response. I've been tracking their online activity heavily since this. So far, I haven't seen anything questionable, but I am being very cautious. I'm checking Abby's too, since I'm not ruling out her ending up in any bad online spaces. Commenter 5. Your husband is a huge jerk, and I hope you take him for everything he has. Ops response. I am definitely going to get the most I can.